Hi there, my name's Priya and I'm a partner at Architecture and Company. I am going to do a little video for you on becoming self-employed for dentists. It's that time of the year. I get approached a lot by newly qualified dentists whose training is just about to come to an end and they're going to be starting on their first self-employed role as an associate. It can be quite a scary time. It's a big change going from employed to self-employed. So I just wanted to chat you through a few things that you need to make sure that you're doing, a few things that you need to be aware of. So the first thing that I'm going to say, and you're probably going to say to me, well, she would say that, wouldn't she? Is you really should try and get an accountant early on. The reason is that if you get an accountant early on, you can make sure that you're doing everything that you need to be doing right from the beginning, rather than starting off doing things one way and then being told partway through that actually it's going to be better if you do things differently. You can also make sure that you're saving enough for your tax. I mean, I always say to my newly qualified, as a really rough rule of thumb, 25% of your income should be set aside for your tax, but it does vary. If you're earning a lot or you're earning not very much, or you've got a student loan or you've got other income, the amount will vary. So that's one of the big things. You know, if you're just starting self-employment now or September, your first tax bill, if you start in September 22, is not going to be until January 2024. So it's a long way away. So the temptation to just not save, you know, suddenly you'll be having all this income coming into your bank account, whereas previously you were getting your income after tax was deducted when you were working as a VDP. So it's tempting when you see all this money building up to spend it, but you need to make sure you are setting money aside. The other thing is you're going to have to pay your tax bill in Jan 24, as I said. You don't want to leave it until December 2023 to get an accountant, which I know some people do. It's tempting because you're not having to then pay your accountant until later. You're going to have to pay us anyway, so you may as well get us on board early so we can start helping you early. And so that you've got time to prepare for your tax bill. Once I get your first accounts done, excuse me, I can then let you know how much tax you have to pay, not only Jan 24, but also July 24, and also perhaps give you a fairly good idea of your tax bill in Jan 25. So it's a good idea to do that early on. The second thing to do is to make sure you register with HMRC as self-employed. You need to register with them also for national insurance contributions. Your national insurance contributions will be calculated automatically with your tax return at the end of the year, but you still need to register. If you don't register, there can be issues with claiming various benefits, so state pension, maternity allowance, incapacity benefit. All of these things are dependent upon one of your national insurance contributions called Class 2. There's another one that you'll pay as well called Class 4, which you still have to pay, but it's Class 2, which is the one that whenever you try and claim anything, they'll always check to make sure that you're up to date. So that's important to do as well. The other thing, if you're going to be working in the NHS, is to make sure that you get on board with superannuation. Now, I have to caveat this by saying I'm not a pensions advisor, so please get specialist advice. But you'll have seen from one of my other videos, superannuation is, in my opinion, a great scheme. So you want to make sure that you're on board. You need to get your principal to add you on. You will have to then get used to logging onto Compass, and you should be able to see how much superannuation is going into your pension pot. That is also important because if you are going to be claiming maternity pay from the NHS in the future, or hopefully you don't have to, but if you have to claim sick pay from the NHS, they will look at the NPE figure. So I won't go into what the NPE is because I've talked about that in my other video about Superann, but that's important to do as well. Second thing, or third thing, I've lost count, is to get organised. Ideally setting yourself up with a separate bank account that you're just going to be using for work. A lot of people say to me, well, what are my work expenses? And yes, that can be a little bit difficult to ascertain, especially when you've been employed in the past. The rules are a little bit different. When you are employed, so that's where your tax is deducted by your employer, you can only claim tax relief on anything that is wholly, exclusively, and necessarily incurred. So it has to be necessary. When you are self-employed, you can claim relief on anything that is wholly and exclusively incurred. So that necessarily test is not there anymore. So that opens things up. There's a whole lot more you can claim relief on. It's about knowing what you can claim and about making sure that you put it through correctly so that if you ever have an HMRC tax investigation, you can evidence what you've done, and it's going to be, I won't say no stress, but it's going to be a whole lot less stress. HMRC investigations are always a little bit stressful, so you always need to try and make sure that you're doing everything correct so that it doesn't happen to you. In any case, moving on from that, because I don't want to scare you by talking about HMRC investigations, I have to say they don't happen very much. So please don't worry, just ignore that last bit, erase it from your memory. So hopefully that's given you a few good pointers. When you start your self-employment, as I said, you're going to have a lot of things going on. You want to make sure that at least your accounts and tax side of things, just get it sorted from the beginning so it's one less thing for you to worry about. If you have any questions at all, or there's anything that you would like me to cover in future videos, please do comment in the box below, and please do click on subscribe. Thank you for listening. Bye.